Good morning, everyone. So, this is the video in which we will be discussing the entire poem, My Mother at 66. In one shot, we'll be discussing the poem line by line, revising everything the poem says, all the figures of speeches that are there in the poem, the poetic devices, the meaning, the summary, and the conclusion. Everything we'll be doing in this video. Okay? In the next part of this video at My Mother at 66, we will be doing the questions of the poem. Alright, so My Mother at 66 is written by the author Kamla Das. Okay, and in this poem, basically, the writer or the poet talks about the relation between a daughter and a mother. Okay, it is a poem which is describing the relation between a daughter and her mother. Okay, a daughter who lives away from her mother, but she has come to see her mother. Okay, and now she has to leave from her mother's home to where she actually lives, and that is what in this poem the entire thing is described about. Okay, so it's written here, she is a sensitive writer who captures complex subtitles of human relationships in lyrical idiom. My Mother at 66 is an example. That means that this author, Kamla Das, is trying to capture the different aspects of a relationship between a mother and daughter. Okay, so let's begin with the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. Alright, that begins the poem. So, what is the poet trying to tell here? That she was driving. Oh, I'm so sorry, there's a. Yeah. She is telling that she was driving from her parents' home to Cochin. Okay, that means from where is she going to where? She was initially at her parents' home and now she is going to Cochin. So from the parents' house she is now going to Cochin. Okay, for parents' house now she is going to Cochin. Last Friday morning I saw my mother beside me. Okay, this is in the car basically. She was driving from her parents' house. This is in the car. So this scene is in the car. Okay, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open mouth, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. Okay, fine. Let's understand this. How is she describing her mother here? She was dozing, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Okay, so let me just list out these qualities and then I'll explain. So basically what she is trying to say is the mother was basically sleeping. Okay, mother was basically sleeping, and what she realized here was, okay, try to understand, she was sleeping. That means the first word she used was doze. Doze means sleep. Okay, doze means sleep. The second quality that she is using is open mouthed. Open mouth means her mouth was open. Okay, she was sleeping with the mouth open. Okay, that is very common among humans that to sleep with the mouth open. And third was the face which looked like a corpse. That means her face was looking like a dead person. Okay, her face was looking like a dead person. That is what she is trying to say. What does this mean? When does a person look like a dead person? Basically, you can understand this easily, that whenever a person is very old, okay, or he looks old, when a person looks wrinkled, okay, wrinkled, old, tired, okay, then only the person looks like a corpse. Okay, they sleep like a corpse. Try to understand this. The parent was sleeping beside the author and she was dozing. Dozing means she was sleeping, number one, with her mouth open. Okay, open mouthed. Then what is told about is that when she was sleeping like this, her face was ashen, like the face was looking like a corpse. That means that she was actually looking very old, tired, and wrinkled, just like a corpse looks. Okay, that you try to understand. Okay, next line. And realized with pain. Okay, try to think about this for 10 seconds. That what did she realize? Alright, so realized with pain means that she was feeling sad. That she, now what is the she here? She, who is speaking this line? These lines are spoken by the poet. So she will be definitely talking about the mother. So that she was as old as she looked. Okay, that means she is talking about the mother here, and she's saying that the mother, she realized that the mother was as old as she looked. That means she was actually as old. She did not only looked old, but was actually very old. Okay, the mother did not only look old, she was actually very old. And that the daughter now realized. Okay, so she was sad, because whenever you feel that your parent or your loved one is getting old, that means time is coming. The time to pass away is near. And that will obviously make anyone who loves that person really sad. The person will feel miserable for a fear of losing a loved one. This is basically the fear of losing a loved one. Okay, and that is why she was really feeling bad, that her mother is aging and she may pass away and she will lose her loved one. Okay, so for that she put that thought away. Which thought? The thought of the mother being old and passing away. She thought that she should not get sad by thinking it anymore, so she just put the thought away. And what did it do to that? She looked out. Okay, like suppose you are traveling in a car. Okay, I'm going to just give you a brief sketch. It's a horrible car, so I'm going to be drawing right now. Okay, but because it's not a drawing session. Okay, so suppose this is your car and this is a window. So she looked out of this window. Okay, this was the window and she now looked out of this window. Fine. So she looked out of this window, and what did she see? Number one, what she saw was, she saw young trees sprinting. Number one, we'll understand this, what does this mean. And number two, the merry children spilling out of their homes. So there are two things that she saw here. Number one is young trees sprinting. So let me write it here. What did she see? Okay, we'll change the color to this one. Okay, so outside the window now, out of the window, what she saw, just a second, let me make this line a bit straighter. Yeah, so outside the window she saw, number one, young trees sprinting. Now try to understand. Young trees sprinting. Sprinting. What is the meaning of sprinting? Sprinting means very fast running. Sprinting means very fast running. Okay. Can trees run? Obviously trees cannot run. This is not possible. Trees cannot run. Trees are stationary objects. They will definitely not be able to run. Okay. So young tree sprinting basically is something which physics people would know, and others also. I'll try to explain in an easy way. This is something which is called as relative motion. Okay, I'm not going into physics, I'm just introducing this term. This means that when your car is moving ahead and you have trees here, okay, your car is moving ahead and you are having trees here, okay, you have trees here, the trees will appear to move backward. Okay, even though the trees are stationary, if your car moves forward, then definitely you will find out that the trees are moving backward. This is very common to all of us. Everything that is stationary, our house, when we are going past our house, suppose this is the house, suppose this is your house and here you have your car here. When the car moves ahead, the house is stationary, but you will find that the house is moving backward. This is due to relative motion, and that is why the trees are sprinting. Okay, the trees are sprinting is just indicating that because the car is moving forward, the trees are moving backward. They are stationary, but they appear to us to moving backward. Okay, young tree sprinting. Now, this was the literal meaning of the thing, relative motion. When we try to take the metaphorical, the deep meaning of this just shows that trees are young, number one. Number two is they are running or sprinting. These are characteristics which are contrary to the mother. While the mother was old and she looked tired, the trees were young, the trees were running. So these are the thoughts which were contrary to what the state of the mother was and the state of the trees were. Okay. Next is merry children spilling out of their homes. Now, when we talk about merry children spilling out of their homes, we are basically understanding that suppose this is a home, many homes, and here everywhere children are running and playing. Okay, they are running, playing everywhere. Now, these children who the poet talks about, they also represent a contrast to the mother. Just let us compare this. Okay. We'll understand how the children are representing a contrast to the poet's mother. Okay, the table tool is not working, I think. Just a second, we can wait for 5 seconds if it opens up, otherwise we will take some other tool. Alright, no issues. Let's do this one only. Okay. Alright. So here basically we'll try to make a contrast. When we talk about the mother, number one, when we talk about the mother, she is old. Her face is ashen, like a corpse or a dead body. She is looking that old. She has no energy because she is sleeping. Okay, she has no energy, she is sleeping and is not at all energetic from any point. Whereas when we talk about the children are number one, young. They have age on their side. Number two, they are lively and playing. And number three, they are energetic and not dull. They are not dull, their face is not dull, they are full of energy. So while on one hand, the poet's mother is old, wrinkled, okay, she is absolutely lacking energy. Okay, on the other hand, the children who are running out of the homes and playing, they are full of energy, enthusiasm, joy, and they are very young. So this also represents a contrast between old age and youth. So this, on a bigger note, if we write, this is representing a contrast between youth and old age. Okay, this is a contrast between youth and old age. Okay, so this is a simple thing that we have understood here. Alright. Okay, moving to the next line now. But after the airport security check, okay, there's one line missing. The line is, but after the airport security check, standing few yards away, I put the thought away. I looked again at her, wan pale. Okay, now this is scene 2. Okay, let me just explain you this one line which by mistake got cut. This is scene 2. Scene 2 and scene 2 is at the airport. Okay, because we know scene 1 was at the car because the poet was driving from her mother's home at Cochin to her home. Okay, in Cochin, from her mother's home to Cochin she was driving. Now she was at the airport because she had to take a flight. And see, this is the gate of the airport. Suppose this is your gate, and after the gate, somewhere maybe here, you have the security check. Security check. In the airports, we have a security check, no? After, it's quite away from the gate. So from the mother, definitely she was not leaving. So she will be here at the gate, where the poet will be at the security check. So they were having a contact with each other. They were looking at each other. So they were having a contact with each other. They were looking at each other. And at this scene, okay, that the poet was at the security check, the mother was outside the airport. They looked at each other, and she again got the thought and saw her, and she felt she was wan. Number one is wan, and number two is pale. Okay, number one is wan, number two is pale. Now, what is the meaning of wan? Wan means colorless. Colorless means definitely a face has a particular color of the skin. Colorless just means not lively. Okay, sick. Whenever a person falls sick, the face looks colorless. Okay, so not lively, sick, very dull. Okay, that is the meaning of wan at this context. The meaning is colorless, but looking at the context, we can derive this metaphorical meaning. Pale. Pale means sad. Sad, lack of energy. So the same things. Okay, the words are different, but the meaning is same. That was before. The face still looked wan, colorless, lack of energy, old, sad. Okay, wrinkled. Okay, wrinkled, old. Okay, the face of the mother was still looking old, sad, wrinkled, because she actually was the same only, like the same thing that she was in the car, the same mother was here, and she again thought that these emotions again dominated in her face. Okay, so again at airport security check also, she found that the mother was still wan and pale. Alright, very, very important line. Let's move to this one. Okay. As a late winter's moon. Okay, now she is writing out the mother's face only. I looked at her again, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon. Very important. Now, why has the poet compared her mother with late winter's moon? So, poet compares her mother with late winter's moon. Alright, now before we move to the comparison, first thing we should try to understand is what is special about the late winter's moon. Why not a winter moon? Why not just the moon? Why is it late winter? Now try to understand. Late winter means peak winter. Okay, late winter means peak winter. At peak winter, what happens? At peak winter, you have fog, you have mist, okay, you have a lot of clouds. Okay, generally fog, mist and clouds are dominated at peak winters of Decembers and Januaries. What happens is, when you have your moon, okay, try to understand this. When you have your moon, okay, at the, like this, suppose this is your moon. Okay, just a second, let me make it more lively. Okay, this is just for fun, this illustration. Do not criticize or praise it. Okay. Suppose you have your moon here, okay, and there are a lot of clouds because it's late winter, so there is a lot of fog. Okay, there's a lot of mist, there's a lot of clouds like this which are hanging over here. And what happens is the moon hides in the clouds or the fog, and the brightness of the moon goes. Okay, so because at late winter there is too much of fog and mist, the moon and its brightness hide in it. We cannot see the brightness of the moon in so much of fog and mist. Now similarly, now you talk about in the mother's case, her faces, the brightness of her face face, the charm of her face hides in the fog of old age. Okay, this is the same simple contrast. I'll again explain it. What is said is that the just like in late winters in the moon, we cannot see the brightness of the moon, it fades away in the shadow and in the fog. Okay, so in the similar way, the mother's face, which is like a moon, okay, face can be the shape of a face kind of resembles a moon. So the mother's face brightness and the charm of the face of the mother has hidden, okay, has been disguised in the fog of her old age. That means her old age has taken over her and she does not have any brightness. She looks old, tired, okay, and that is how the brightness goes. So that is why she has been compared to the late winter's moon. We'll be discussing all the poetic devices right now, but this you try to just understand what is talked about here. Okay, next part. And felt, she's compared her face, number 1 wan, number 2 pale, and number 3 as the late winter's moon. 4, okay. And felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. After seeing the mother and seeing these things about the face, what did she feel? Was the old familiar ache. Now what is an ache? Ache is a kind of a small pain. Ache is a small or a large, can be a different part of a pain. It's a different expression to denote a pain. Okay, so seeing at these things, she felt the same pain that she had felt in her childhood also. What pain? Simple pain and the fear of losing her loved one. Okay, because when someone gets old, we always fear that they may not live for long. So the poet Kamala Das here had the fear that she will lose her mother because she is getting so old. Okay, because she is 66 years old, her brightness of the face is gone. Okay, she is dozing like a corpse, so that's why. So the pain or the ache that the poet feels, the pain that the poet feels, it is multiple times, is in the childhood, is in her adulthood, okay, which we have seen in the car, which we have seen in the airport. And what is this fear about? What is the fear about? Losing her loved. Okay, by mistake I'm writing HERE. I'm sorry for that. Losing her loved one. The person she loves the most, the fear of losing that person is dominating over her. Okay, that is the thing. Now what did the poet do then? But all I said was, okay, so this is the goodbye speech. See you soon, Amma. Amma means mother. And all I did was smile, smile, and smile. This is basically the parting words. Okay, before leaving, we wish a goodbye to everyone. So before going to the flight, this is how she wished a goodbye to the mother. This is a very important part. Let's understand this in detail. Okay. So the first thing in the parting, the first thing that was done was see you soon, which you very well understand is a one phrase which we use always, that we will meet soon once again, which is a hope. This is basically a hope of meeting again. See you soon. Now the smiles. Okay, this is a very important question for the boards as well. What are the significance of these smiles? Okay, let's understand this. The first smile denotes a realization. What realization? That Kamala Das had to spend more time with the mother. Okay, she had to spend more time with the mother because she was living away, no? She was living in Cochin and mother was living somewhere else. So she realized that she had to actually spend time with the mother she cared for so much. Second, the second smile was an attempt to hide her sorrow. try to understand what was her sorrow. She was having a sad feeling, no, about losing the mother. The sad feeling about losing mother. But she did not want the mother to see her pain. Okay? She was smiling inside, within her heart, here. Now try to understand. Here in her face, she had a smile. But here in her heart, she was sad because she had all these feelings about the old age and about losing. Okay? So, what we can try to understand here is by smiling, she wanted to hide this sorrow. She wanted to hide these feelings from the mother, because if she would express these feelings, the mother would understand that she is unhappy and the mother would feel bad. No, so she did not want to hurt the mother. Did not want her mother to feel bad. Okay, she did not want her mother to feel bad. So that is why, an attempt to hide her sorrow, an attempt to hide her sadness from the mother, she did this. And finally, the smile shows her hope. Just like see you soon. Okay, by saying see you soon, we always smile. Why do we smile? Because the hope of meeting our beloved person once again. Okay, this was the hope of meeting her beloved person, her mother, once again. Okay, so a hope she will live. A hope, in her case, this is a specific case, she will live very long. Okay, that was the third thing. So basically, the smiles were a realization that she had to spend more time with her mother. Even though she was living away, she had to spend more time. An attempt to hide her sorrow, an attempt to disguise her sorrow and not let the mother feel the sadness she is going through, and a hope that she will meet the mother once again. Her fears will never come true, and they will live happily long together after, happily long ever after. Okay, that was a hope, a positivity. So this is also a positivity. This is also a positivity. Okay, so that was the parting words. The see you soon amma and the smile, smile and smile. Very important. Okay, so I'll highlight this for you because this is very, very important. Okay, so that's it from this poem. We have understood the poem in detail, and I have given you all these points to explain the various parts of the poem as well. One thing more that I want to tell you quickly is the summary or the theme of this poem. The theme of this poem basically is simple. The theme of this poem is capturing the complex emotions which we discussed in the beginning of a human relationship. Okay, she wanted to the Pamela Das wanted to express how different feelings and emotions arise in a human relationship, how humans are related to each other. Feeling of sadness, happy, pride, nostalgia, different feelings which are there is captured through the poem. Okay, through what poem? A mother-daughter bond. A mother-daughter bond. She is capturing the relationship, emotions and different phases of a relationship in a human being. Okay, that is the main thing. Another thing that she explains in this poem is an irony. Okay, let me take up the figures of speech also. Okay, that is very important. So let's do this. The poetic devices. Okay, I'll increase the thickness. Alright, so she was talking about the poetic devices. So let's discuss the poetic devices. The first poetic device that we get in this poem is here. The first one is here, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Okay, now face of a person is compared to a corpse. So whenever you have a comparison, there are two figures of speeches, simile and metaphor. But here the word like has been used. This is most important. Whenever you have a comparison with the use of like or as okay, then it is a simile. If you do a direct comparison, then it's a metaphor. So here the word like has been used, so this is a simile. So the first poetic device is a simile in face to a corpse. Okay, the face is compared to a corpse because of approaching old age. Okay, the old age of the mother, that's the reason. The second poetic device that we are using is personification. Okay, personification. Now personification is when a non-human being or non-human thing has been given a quality of a human. Where has that been used? That has been used in this line. Trees sprinting. This is your personification. Trees sprinting. Sprinting means running fast. Running is a quality of human beings which has been given to trees. Okay, so personification has been used in the trees sprinting. Okay, because trees don't run, but they have been given the quality of running, that is a human quality. So that is personification. Why has this been given? This I have told you, due to relative motion. Okay, the car moves ahead, the tree moves backward. Relative motion. The next figure of speech. Okay, some figures of speech you will also have to identify. I'll be telling you the most important ones here. The next is your late winter's moon. Again, a mother's face is compared to a late winter's moon. Okay, it's a comparison with the word as a late winter's moon is given. Okay, so word as is given. So as means it's a simile. So another simile we are having here. Okay, late winter's moon. Late winter's moon. Okay, and this we have done a detailed comparison that why it has been compared. Okay, so this is a comparison with the late winter's moon. Okay, and her face of the mother with the word as, and why it has been done, we have understood that just like the late winter, the brightness of the moon is covered in the fog, in the same way the brightness of her mother's face has been covered in the fog of her old age. Okay, next one is reputation. Repetition. Now what has been the repetition here? Repetition means when one word in a particular line is repeated again and again, the same word. And here you can see in the last line simply repetition has been done with the word smile, smile and smile. Okay, 1 2 3 1. Okay, so smile word has been repeated multiple times in the last line, and when one word is repeated multiple times in a line, it's called repetition. So this is your smile, smile and smile. Okay, so this is your smile, smile and smile repetition. Fine. Now one important thing here, why the meaning of these smiles I have already explained you, the 3 smiles. Okay, this we have already done. And finally we have a very important poetic device, irony. Irony is in the whole poem only. Okay, irony is in the whole poem only. How? What is the irony? Basically the irony is we stay away from loved ones, from our loved ones, and are busy. We stay away from loved ones and in our busy lives. But when it comes to losing one, we are feared and feel really sad. So this basically is that in the poem, the daughter is staying in Cochin and she's busy in her working life or her educational life, that we don't know, and the mother is staying here. So generally we are busy in our lives and our loved ones are somewhere else, and we care about them. Definitely, I'm not saying we don't care. We definitely care about them, but we are really busy in our lives. But when it comes to having a problem with a loved one, a conflict or the fear of losing, we are the ones who feel miserable. We are the ones who take care of it. So basically, what is the moral that is being issued here? The moral that he is telling, the poet is telling here, she is telling here, is we should always care for and morally support our loved ones, the family, friends, everyone. Okay, we should always care for them, no matter whether situations are normal, situations are different. We should always care for everyone. We should always equally love our loved ones, always. Okay, so equally we should love our loved ones, be with them, and care for them. That is absolutely a correct moral, and it is very important for us to take care and love our loved ones always. Okay, so this is the moral of this poem. All right, so with that, we have discussed everything regarding the poem, line by line explanation, figures of speech, important phrases, okay, theme, moral, everything we have done. So this is your complete poem, My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. We have discussed. Now in the next video, what we will be doing is the, just a second, yeah, in the next video we will be doing the questions from the NCERT plus some PYQs plus MCQs plus RTCs. That's what we are going to do. We'll discuss the NCERT questions. There are minimum 4-5 questions only there. Then we will discuss important MCQs, because now onwards your English paper will be having MCQs, and that is very important to do the chapters line by line so that to crack the MCQs. So we will be practicing MCQs a lot, and RTCs. It's a poem, definitely RTC from poems are there always in the paper. It can be from this poem, can be from some other, but you should always be ready with RTCs. And RTCs in an MCQ pattern also is new, which has been introduced in 2021, and it is expected that MCQ pattern in English will continue for 2022 definitely, and years to come. So we will be discussing them as well. Okay, so My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das is done completely. Okay, you can just read the poem once again, and these are your complete notes also. Okay, so if you want, you can take a screenshot of these notes. Okay, you can take the screenshot of these notes. All right, these are all your complete notes. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for being in this video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Subscription and liking is important to morally boost the creator. And in the next video we'll be doing the questions, and after that we will be starting off with some other chapter as per your comments. Okay, any chapter of English we are fine with. Okay, thank you so much. Take care, stay subscribed and stay safe. Thank you.